Hi, everybody. Hi. Welcome to the Intention Beads Talisman Trunk Show. It's the marketplace of the future, which is right now. I would prefer to be um, in a one-on-one or personal live event, but this is the best we're going to do for now. So, welcome. We'll get settled in here. You know, Alex and I have been wanting to do these more and more often. So this is our second one in the last few months. They've been so successful. And it's really interesting because you can see these talismans on my website. You see the chart there, you see the colors, you see the style, you see the intention, the affirmation, why I made the talisman at that time. But when we can get up close and personal, we have more of a conversation around it. And we don't know, as an intuitive sun in 29 Pisces, I may not know exactly what I'm going to say around a talisman when I'm in that intuitive field. So welcome, come in. And what we do here that is really cool is sell raffle tickets. I am a Leo rising, and so there's got to be a little fun in our day and in our work that I love doing. And so the raffle is $10 for one raffle ticket. You can go on to my website. Alex is going to put something up, and you're not losing money. You're literally putting it $10 in for one raffle ticket, but then that certificate of how much money, if it's $10 or if it's $100 and you buy 10 raffle tickets, that money is not gone if you don't win. It's usable. It's a credit on our website. So it's win-win, and it has been working and works for you, that you're just taking a chance, you're taking a risk. And sometimes it's fun to have a little fun and not be risk averse and take a little bit of chance. It's funny, when I put the shirt on today, and I really don't care about brands or anything, it's not a big thing for me, but I looked at the brand of this one today, and it said "Call in the Wild," right? So I was like, okay, let's do this. So let's see. I want to welcome everybody to the Leo season. The Leo, the lion. Here we've got this lion, this celestial mala from Bali that I work with, Bali malas. We've got these on the website. And hey, the sun in Leo just moved in yesterday morning. The sun in Leo loves to be in Leo. Sun rules Leo. It's in his home domicile. So, it's time to shine. It's time to really pump up the chest muscle. It's kind of like a Tarzan or Tarzana attitude, right? The confident, the courage, the bold, taking risks, right? We don't have to make a big to-do over something. We could just be a quiet Leo. We probably know some of those quiet Leos. So this is the, you can actually see the Leo lion face on this bead that I've made during the sun in Leo. So we get kind of, we can't get too close, but there's the face of the lion. So yeah, so we work with the Rudraksha seed beads and Bali mala. So that's available. So welcome to you Leos. I know a few that are joining tonight, and for the Leo risings of us. Alex has got a moon in Leo. So it is time for us to shine. So let's see what you're working on. So I'm going to show several talismans, and these are my favorite right now. I'm going to show 4 of them that are fixed star talismans. What does that mean? So fixed stars are the constellations that you see in the night sky. that some are really bright and some are barely noticeable, but they're powerful. When we think about planets, planets are the wandering stars, and so they move, they wander, they transverse. But fixed stars stay in place. They're fixed. They don't move. Now, I could say this out on the side of my out the side of my neck that yes, they move about 1 degree every 72 years. All right. I'm not even 72. So since I was born, they haven't moved 1 degree yet. So just giving you a context on that. They do move super slowly. So in our lifetime, there is not much movement in them. And so I really watch for any planet, wandering star, a planet, making contact in the sky with a fixed star. And I've got 4 beautiful ones to show you. Not only are they beautiful, of course, I think all my work's beautiful, although I do have, my favorites. So this is, this kind of does remind us a little bit of, this is a spica. This one is the gift of the goddess. So this is a large bead, and it's got multicolors. We can see some really bright activity here. And this is the moon. I'll show you the chart in a minute. This is to hold refinement and spiritual luck. With peace as my anchor and beauty as my compass, I choose wisdom as my guide. My gifts bring joy to others. So the wording here, this has to match the frequency. So when we have, let's get the chart out here. So at this moment, this is when I was in Cincinnati, Ohio, visiting my mother. And this was at 2:40 in the afternoon. And we had the moon coming up at 22 degrees of Libra with spica. We always have to use a fixed star on an angle. That is the alchemical, the alchemy way. This is written in the ancient textbooks. So when we're using fixed star, we got to adhere it to an angle. And we have 4 angles. I use pretty much only ascendant and midheaven. The ascendant is what's rising over the horizon on the eastern border. We all have ascendants. That's what was rising over on the eastern side of the world when you were born, wherever you were born. And so that holds a talisman wearer energy. And so it's very important in what we call that as the helmsman, right? The steerer of the ship of the talisman. We all have our personal rising signs or ascendants, and that is the helmsman of our individual ship. So this is the helmsman of the ship, and it's the spica is right at this 24 degrees of Libra. And you do fixed star work within a 2 degree, maybe 3, but mostly 2. The closer and tighter you can get, the stronger it is. So we don't do anything that is beyond 3 degrees. So here we got the moon is at 22 and a half, and it's coming right up with spica. So they've combined. So again, spica is the Virgo. It's holding the wheat shaft in the hand it's the gift of the goddess, right? It's the symbol of sustainable energy. It's the gift of humankind. So, if you watch or know any Egyptian terminology or goddesses, this is linked to the Egyptian goddess Isis. So, if you went to Italy, that's soon. But if you went to Egypt with me last October, we learned a lot about Isis and the gifts that she can proclaim. So it's about thriving, it's prosperity, it's wealth. So this is to hold refinement and spiritual luck. Yeah. So this piece runs and flows with this frequency. So, anyone looking for a little bit of showing their gifts to the world to help others thrive and success and have a plethora of wealth. And that can mean financial, but it also means character, honesty, generosity, and just being like a love connection. So this is number 1799. Do I need to say that out loud? I don't know, but maybe I do. Because each one, in fact, I'll show you right now. Each one of my pieces now has a sterling silver tag on it. On one side is the number, like this is 1799. And this one on the other side says the moon is conjunct the ascendant, conjunct fixed star Spica. So, what we were identifying over the years, I've been doing this work for 15 years, and the idea of people having multiple, I know one woman has 26 of these, and it was getting difficult for her to remember which was which box, which was which card. And so we started to put these on, which actually helps with the planets that we're talking about, in case this one is the moon with Spica, now follows her glyphs, follows the symbols. That's one additional connection. I use the proper incense, the proper colors, the proper gems, the proper prayer while I repeat the intention and affirmation. So again, this one is to hold refinement and spiritual luck with peace as my anchor and beauty as my compass. I choose wisdom as my guide. My gifts bring joy to others. All right, so that's this one to the side. I'm going to show all of the fixed stars right now because they're one of my favorites. I love fixed star. I did a retreat with fixed star, teaching mythology and fixed star. So here is another one. This is also, again, large bead. That we'll start showing some small beads in a bit. This one is Mars connected to Regulus. So interesting that Regulus in my lifetime, and probably everybody here, because because the Regulus just moved from 29 degrees of Leo and did that 1 degree in a 72-year period and moved to 0 Virgo. And so this one is to possess the heart of a true leader, a true leader. I trust in my own power. I act with integrity. I move with purpose. It is written in the stars. Woo! I like this one. I mean, I like them all. I like this. This is, here we got the chart here. This was made on June 17th. Again, this year, all these are made this year. So these haven't been seen in any trunk show or event, like a Hay House event or a Celebrate Your Life event. None of these have been seen. These are brand new since I've been any of those events. Which is there's such great talismans. That's why we want to come to you in your own home. So here's Mars. Can we see that? Whoops. Mars just moved into 0 degrees of Virgo while we have Leo rising. So Regulus is sitting right here, right in between the rising sign and Mars. So this is, the Watcher. This is one of the Persian royal stars, right? There were 4 Persian royal stars that marked the seasons. And this is the Watcher of the North. It is known to flood the Nile so that people could have their crops flooded to give them sustenance. So this is a beautiful one, and it's Jupiter. Jupiter has just moved into his exaltation sign of Cancer. So this one is number 1776. And there is the, look how this is really shining. All right, so that is that one. If you have any questions, oh, thank you. Thank you, Cynthia. Yeah, these are beautiful. Okay, so that's the Regulus. You know, Regulus is really a powerful, because it's one of the Persian stars, it has a nemesis. And this Regulus is to give victory, But if the nemesis here on this one is revenge. And so one doesn't want to get ahead with vengeance. This will be the fall of them. So this one is about possessing the heart of a leader. All right, let's get to this next one. This next one is it just, you know, I don't plan color ahead unless it's a personal talisman, meaning that it's not made yet. We have a conversation. I get your chart. We do your natal astrology work, and then we find something you're working on, and know kind of we talk it through, and then you get to pick if you want a large bead or you want a small bead, and then you get to help with the colors. Although I might suggest using the colors that are preferred of the planetary, like Venus, she loves green. Mars loves red. Saturn loves black. Mercury likes blue. Jupiter is purple. So I may direct you in that direction. So here's one that this is Venus conjunct the fixed star Algol. Now we might know a little bit about Algol being the eye of Medusa. So this one is to rise radiant and rooted. My worth is sovereign, my power reclaimed. And with each breath, I bloom with aliveness. So this has this feeling of birthing. And we want to talk about the Algol. Let's get to the chart here. This is Venus. And again, we can take any planet that is moving with the fixed star. And again, they will, depending on their planetary speed, like Venus will go around the entire chart and hit all 360 degrees and hit all of the fixed stars. But we need to find her as she's hitting or attaching or visiting or witnessing the fixed star, just as it's either coming up or sitting up here on the midheaven, again, above the chart, above the earth, shall we say. So this is, we've got Algol's at 26 degrees of Taurus. So this is about earth, Taurus, the rooted, the grounded. This is Venus coming up at 27 Taurus. She rules Taurus, right? She is in her element here of natural earth. And 26 degrees is coming up with Algol. So this is, you know, to rise radiant and rooted. Wouldn't it feel good to rise every morning and knowing that this is coming up as the talisman wearer? You're feeling this energy. So this is really because it's the Algol, and we know that the story of Medusa, right, where Perseus cuts off her head and uses it to stop men, turn them into stone. That's what she used her eye for. So if you might have Algol very strong in your natal chart, but you can be quiet and just give the eye, right? I know somebody that has very strong Algol. So it's intense feminine power. Now, I don't have this personally, but if you need it, here is a talisman that has this frequency. It's literally the Kundalini energy, this stirring of this energy of feminine power. Now, no, you're not going to turn other people to stone. That's a myth. But the idea is you can stop them in their tracks, right? You know, you have the radiant power and the rootedness of being in a strong structure. It's the potential power. Bernadette Brady, one of my mentors who writes a lot about, wrote many books and teaches a lot of the fixed star energy. She writes that this algol is the potential power of Mother Nature, strong but not evil. So we might be familiar with the evil eye, right? If you've been to Greece or Turkey, people are buying the eye. That is the evil eye to ward off evil spirits. And so this is the algol. This is the algol. So it's strong, but it's not evil. So it's protective. It's protective. So this one is available. And I do like the fact that the moon down here in the creative field of the fifth house and in Libra is also ruled by Venus. So the moon has an influence to this Venus and algol also. And the moon is making a connection to both Jupiter, the fancy four, which is Zeus. This is the abundance. And then also making a sextile to Mercury, the communication planet, the mental thought, the words, the ideas, the thoughts, the subject matter. So this is really kind of a really cool, really pretty piece. Now I might say that a lot, but I don't know. This one is just kind of my colors, green and purple. Interesting. I just have a comment here. I had another company that I started after Michael Jordan asked me to make him beads. I was part of the medical team. I was in radiology. And when I started my she bead business back in 1994, I had to pick two colors, and I picked green and purple as my business colors. Little did I know that those are the colors of Venus and Jupiter. I had a successful business, but interesting that in my chart, I have Jupiter rising and Venus at the very top of the chart. So without me being into astrology at the time, I picked the colors that were very prominent in my chart, which are the two benefics. And who doesn't want the benefics on your side? Those are the beneficial planets, Jupiter and Venus. And actually a lot of the upcoming talismans, of course, we've got the sun in Leo that I just mentioned. And so in August, there's a lot of opportunity. Like it's the middle of August, I'm going to be making a lot of sun in Leo talismans. And so that's that solar power, that shine from within, the Leo, sun in Leo, the radiance. Also for the remaining part of the year, this year up all the way until like June of 2026, we have Jupiter in Cancer, which is the exaltation sign of Jupiter. Jupiter rules Pisces. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Those are domiciles. But each planet has rulership, domicile rulership of one or two placements. However, each planet has a exaltation zodiac sign. So that's pretty cool that finally Jupiter is back in the Cancer placement, which he hasn't been in since the last 12 years. So you may want to take that offer up for the personal talismans, because there's a lot of really good stuff coming up, a lot of good talismanic time, a lot of alchemical programming that will be coming up in this next year. So, why not start now though, right? The whole idea is And that's if we pause just for a second and take a deep breath. We can control our own life, our own feelings, our own home, our own thoughts, our own emotions, and a lot of things we can't control right now. A lot of things in the world, particularly in our country, is what is the word, ad hoc? Jerry rigged. It's a lot of things that we don't know our next step, or the next step that is going to be made for us. So what we can do is know that within our bones, know that within our soul, that we are okay. We are enough. We are beautiful souls that will continue to live and live a bright, happy life. Seriously, that's our part. That is our part. It's what we are here to do during this time. This was all sculpted. Our souls knew this. So let's take part. Let's say yes. And I know if you're here, you're already saying yes, if you're already here. So let's go to this one I just did. This is another large bead, and I'm using a oxidized crystal. These are the Swarovski oxidized crystals. This is Procyon. Procyon is the Canis minor. Oh, he's the little dog. He was the puppy. There's a big dog and a little dog. So he's the puppy of Orion, and he's one of the hunters. Now, what is really cool about Procyon as the little dog is he comes up before the big dog. So in the sky, when we're able to see it, we hear about the dog days of summer. It's related to these two dogs, Canis major and Canis minor. So this is Canis minor. And what this fixed star promises is for one who comes before. This is a transition. This is things in transition. So in other words, he's not the announcer, but once we see Procyon coming up over the horizon, we know the big dog is coming up, and that's Sirius, right? That's Sirius. That's the brightest fixed star in our solar system. So he is the scorcher. He is a bright star. So this intention is to tend to the sacred flame of my lineage. Ooh. I carry the light of those who walked before me. I remember, I protect, and therefore become the prayers of my ancestors. I embody their strength in my bones. Yeah, this is like DNA, folks, right? This is DNA. So again, this is things in transition. So what came before us? Those were our ancestors. These are our people that they have walked before us. And we think we have it hard right now. We at least have like air conditioning, mostly on these hot dog days of summer. So thinking about what have they overcome, our ancestors, to get us to where we are now. It's amazing what they had to deal with. I don't know. We all did it. We've all been here before, which is then the title of my Italian Monte Gufani Castle retreat in October. That's another webinar I'm going to hold talking about that. But anyway, this is to tend the sacred flame of my lineage. I know for me, that's very super important. Super important. Oh, let me show the chart. So, no questions yet? Okay. This was made on July 18th on a Friday. This was done at 5:31 a.m. A lot of these, Venus has been getting up early. She comes up before the sun. Jupiter's now coming up before the sun. So I've been getting up a lot around 2:30, 3 o'clock to catch some of these talismans. So, and remember, because I'm making these beads, right, that I get this energy as well. So it's worth getting up for. But this one wasn't too bad. This one was at 5:31 a.m. Here we got Procyon sits right at 26 degrees of Cancer. So here is the sun, again, on an angle, has to be on an angle, the ascendant angle. And we've got the sun at 26 degrees of Cancer with Procyon coming up over the horizon at 25 degrees of Cancer. So this is really, I come after my ancestors. So I bring their flame with me because we do. So that is number 1800. Is that a name of a tequila? I don't know. I'm thinking I might have heard that somewhere, or I'm sure I just heard it somewhere. All right, those are my fixed stars that I was showcasing tonight for your enjoyment. Now I want to go to some lunar mansions. There are many lunar mansions. Let me get one of them. I'm going to show a small bead option right now. And again, I don't know what I'm going to make prior to the moment. This one was at 3:01 p.m. I don't know what color I'm going to use, but as soon as I set up my Orphic hymns and light my candle of the color of the planet, I mean, I know the writing. I've written the intention and the affirmation by looking at the chart, right? So this one is one of the lunar mansions. And so a lunar moon, when the moon is in all the way around the zodiac, the 360 degrees of the zodiac, when the moon is in one of these mansions, let me find the page, and there's 28 of them. Some of them are great, some are auspicious, some aren't. So I don't make the aren'ts. I don't make talismans when it's not propitious or it's not helpful. It's not growth oriented. So we'll talk about this one, but let's just, anyone that wants to, we got a few more minutes to get some raffle tickets. We have, and then we'll make this announcement about 5 minutes till the hour of who won the talisman of their choice. It could be one of these, or it could be one that's on my website that I haven't shown you tonight. Or you could put it toward a personal, right? That's at least half of a personal bracelet. All right. So this is, again, a lunar mansion. And the third lunar mansion is one I always go after. Again, it's the one that has to acquire all good things. That's the name of this one. That's the intention for this one. To acquire all good things. I am granted my desire for all the good things of the material world. Make it so. And so it is. So this is, let me show you the chart here. Now we're going to see the lunar mansion can act very similar to the fixed stars, as we got to find an angle. We got to find an angle and have this area of the zodiac. The moon's got to be there and the angle's got to be there within a set degree. And so this degree is about 25 degrees of Aries to about 8 degrees of Taurus. So here we are. We got the midheaven. This is the highest. This is the zenith. This is the career path. This is the reputation. This is public view. I should probably use this hand. This one is geek. But the third lunar mansion up here, this is at 1 degree of Taurus. The moon is at 6 degrees of Taurus, moving toward the midheaven. So this is to acquire all good things. We read about this in the Picatrix, and it's really for this mansion augurs abundance. It is the positive indication in questions of wealth, prosperity, and career. It also may indicate full flowering of art, beauty, and creativity. But it's the words that I used to acquire all good things. I am granted my desire for all the good things in the material world. Make it so, and so it is. So what I haven't shown you is each talisman comes in a box, right? And in a box, of course, it's purple. And the intention is on the outside, again, with a number, to acquire all good things. This was made on March 3rd, 2025 at 3:01 p.m. in Evanston, Illinois, where I live just north of Chicago. The sun is in Pisces. Moon is in Taurus. We just saw that. Moon is in Taurus. The ascendant is Leo. We can see this on the chart. I've just put it in language. The moon in Taurus conjunct the midheaven in Taurus in the third lunar mansion. Boom, boom, boom. I am granted my desire for all the good things in the material world. Make it so. So that's how you receive these. And don't forget that each one of these has a activation. I put in a card in the instruction envelope when I ship this out to get a hold of me to go to the specific website, my website, and set up a complimentary activation. So the activation card, you'll see this in the card. Whoops, I guess you can say it here. Welcome to the Intention Bead Tribe. We're ready to begin. So you follow the steps on the back here and you set up your activation. That way I go over the chart, we record it, and I take you through the first ritual. It doesn't have to be the first ritual, but I take you through it where I separate from the energy, because right now these are in my possession. These energies came through me. I am the last one that touched these. And so they are, I hold the energy. But when one purchases it, becomes the talisman wearer, I need to separate from the energy. And it's during this activation that I do that. So whether I do that online, on Zoom, or I'm doing it at an event. If you're purchasing something at an event, I do it right there. So it's kind of like, you give me your energy and I give you the full amount of energy that is in exchange. So this one, again, third lunar mansion. And again, you can think that the moon's got to be in from 25 Aries to 8 Taurus and sit on an angle without any malefic planets in that area. So this is very soft and very pale. It's subtle. It's very beautiful. And it's a small bead. I think it's it might be the only small bead that I show tonight. So this is number 1768. Let's go to another lunar mansion. And not that I'm holding this for the end, but everybody needs a protection talisman. We often buy those evil eyes for protection, right? So here we are. This is called To Be Protected. I am secure. My voice carries power, and my thoughts shape reality. I attract all and only good things. I attract all and only good things. So how do we do that? How do we attract only good things, right? Because part of the, we give good things and we receive good things. So we have to kind of, put it out there in the world, right? That we are available for all beautiful things. So again, here, this is the ascendant. Again, it's sitting right here on the angle. And it's within that 25 Aries or 29 Aries, so thumbs up. And where the moon is at 3, and we have to catch the moon before the moon gets to 8 of Taurus. So this is the energy. I made this on June 21st of this year, June 21st, just recently. And this was done at 1:59 a.m. So this was one of my early ones. And so when I'm done with talismans, I always go upstairs and get on my rooftop deck, and I watch this occur. So it's very important for me. I mean, I live amongst the stars in a way. So do you. So do you. So let's get to, this is to be protected. Everyone needs a protection bracelet. Let's go. Do we have a few more? We have a few more? Yeah, we have a little bit more. Does anybody want to see a specific one? I know we asked, and I'm showing some of those. This one is another small bead. And don't worry about size of wrist. If you have a really small, thin wrist versus a larger, chunkier wrist, or you broke your wrist once and it's a little bit bigger, I always can resize this. Now it's easy to take the beads off, but if you think, how do you make it bigger? I make more beads at the time. So I have just a bag of certain timings with extra beads that I made exactly at the same time. So I just add those. They're all numbered. Like this one is 1778. So I have a little tiny bag that says 1778. And should you need it a larger size, boom, I add that. I can't add random beads to a talisman. No, 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 no. Okay, so this one is to be magnetic. There. To be magnetic. This is Venus coming up over the ascendant. This is not a lunar mansion. This is not a fixed star. Let's get to the chart. This is Venus. This is Aphrodite. Let's think about that. This is Aphrodite, Venus, rising in her own sign in Taurus. So she's the ruler. She is the helmsman. She is the ruler of this chart, and she is coming up in her own glory. So think about all the pictures that we see of Venus birthing in the shell and coming, onto shore. Think about that here. To be magnetic. Love surrounds me, nurtures me, and reflects my unshakable worth. My heart is open, and my presence attracts profound joys. Right? The heart, love. So this is to be magnetic. We see the moon is also in the moon's exaltation sign of Taurus. And the moon's next aspect is to Venus. It's very important when you're doing planetary talismans to watch where the moon's next aspect is. We don't have to watch it so cleanly or clearly in fixed stars, or we always have to watch the moon in lunar mansions. It's called lunar moon mansions. And when we do planetary, this is considered a planetary talisman, where Venus is in her own domicile, rising as the ruler of the chart with the moon making a conjunction. Lovely, 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 lovely. To be magnetic. So that's about how one attracts. Okay. So there's the card. There's this. Any questions? Alex, you want to do something about readings? You said something. I think that you might have to pop in here for a second to book a reading. Okay, here, just got it done. Now's a really good time to take a look at your chart. If you know your chart, yay. If you following it, yay. But if you don't know what the next year brings, always around 2 to 3 weeks before your birthday, it's always a wonderful time to see what your theme is for your next birthday, for that next year. And it's always, right around your birthday that you move into a different house structure, which has a different theme. There's 12 houses. We see this on the side here. We see all those pie shapes of placements. And there's 12 houses, 12 placements, they're called. And every year we get a birthday, we keep moving around this zodiac. And if you're like me, I just moved into, on my last birthday in March, I moved into a 10th house activation year. So this is called when you move around, it's called annual, yearly perfections, what house is perfecting for you this year. And so it always happens around your birthday, maybe 36 hours this way or 36 hours this way. But I always give you a time, if you get to me, about 2 to 3 weeks before your birthday, so that you can be in sacred space when that changes for you. So if you're in a 10th house like me, 10th house is the top of the chart. It's the zenith area. It's the career, which you might be seeing a lot of emails coming from me, promoting my talismanic energy, my talismans, my retreat. There's been a lot of those with retreat. So normally you don't get this many from intention beads. You don't, because we don't want to do that. We don't want to load you up. But at my age, and I'm in a 10th, I'm going to use this year to promote. The next time this will come in for me 12 years from now, I'll be 81. And, I may not want to be on camera. I may not want to promote myself. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. But I know I still will be doing this work. So where is yours? What house are you in? Where is your perfected theme? Right? If you're 60, you're in a first house. It's all about you, right? When we talk about, the 60s is the new pink. That's probably an old term now by now. But 60s is not our mother's 60, nor are our genes our mother's genes. In fact, funny story, I found some old jeans from when I was before I got married, and Alex took them. You have to ask her if she fit into them. Okay, let's do a few more. Any other questions? So this one is an interesting one. There's something called phasis, and that's spelled Phassis, phasis. And it's a Hellenistic term, actually, that talks about a planet coming out of the beams of the sun. There's either a heliacal rise coming out of the beams of the sun, or a heliacal set going into the beams of the sun. And anytime we're in the beams of the sun, that planet is not seen. It's not seen. The only time we can see a planet when it's near the sun is what's called a cazimi, when it's in the heart of the sun, at the same degree, basically about the same degree. So this is to emerge in illuminating light. This is Mercury, the planet of communication, emerging from the rays of the sun. It's now visible. And it's a brilliant light. It's a shine right before the sun comes up. Right when the sun it separates from the sun. So this is to emerge in illuminating light. I communicate with clarity and power. My words gain heightened influence, caring for the ability of truth and evolution. I share it with the world. So this is, like I said, Mercury rules blue. blue rules Mercury. They're partners. And so I've used a blue crystal here in this as the stone. So this is a large bead. And here's the chart. Here's the chart. So this was done on June 6th at 6:31 a.m. in Cincinnati, Ohio. So I was visiting my mom. And here we have the sun and Mercury separating in a phasis angle. So it's the Mercury is going this way. He's moving toward Jupiter. He is the ruler of Jupiter. They come together. And this is about, bringing something out globally, bringing something from the first house, something that you have to say. It's Gemini ruled. So it has Mercury as the in its own sign. This is wow, right? So this is, whether this is commerce, business, marketplace, making negotiations, making deals, having writing, teaching, learning, studying, anything to do with the communication planet. He's very well placed here, very well placed. Now he goes into Gemini every year, but Jupiter's not always there. No. And he doesn't make his heliacal rise with Jupiter. No. So this is an amazing one. And this is number 1775. So let's look at the time. So we're about ready to roll or pick from the bin. We're going to do one more. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this one. This is very soft lilacs. And it's got a gray stone. So this one I made very early in the year. This is when Venus was in not only her exaltation sign of Pisces, right? Venus is exalted in Pisces. Venus rules Taurus and Libra. But when Venus is in Pisces, she's exalted. So she is high up, high respected. She's on a pedestal. But each planet, right? I was saying each planet has a zodiacal prominence, which is called exaltation, exalted. Each of those has one degree, a particular degree in the 0 to 30, that they have their exaltation degree in that exaltation sign. Okay, this is it. This is it for Venus. So to attune to the beauty of the universe, I embrace the ever-flowing and boundless love, empathy, and compassion within me. I trust the gentle whispers of my heart. I trust. Pisces is about trust. Pisces is all about intuition, about a feeling, a going with the flow. It's water. It's mutable water, right? I'm a Pisces. Now this is sitting at the exaltation degree and wildly. This is first of all my talismans are one of a kind. We will be able to, in 26,000 years, I'll be able to repeat these. Okay. So there are no doppelgangers walking the streets that look like us. I mean, they look like us, but they're not us. Our charts are not the same at all. So that means our talismans are all different as well. So this is, the moon is in Pisces, coming up over the horizon, making this connection to Venus. Now we also say Neptune, right? The trident. He's also the ruler of Pisces. He's the modern ruler of Pisces since he was found through a telescope in the 1800s. But back when talismanic and alchemy magic were all being written about, they didn't know about him. They couldn't see him. So here is Venus and Neptune are in Venus's exaltation degree and sign. This will never happen again. I mean, I can get, next year, when Venus is at 27 Pisces. Maybe the moon probably won't be there either, but the moon is making that aspect. But we got Neptune there. So it's really about super duper intuition. What is the feeling to identify? So we have to learn how to trust. So I trust the gentle whispers of my heart. Yeah, this I made February 1st. And sometimes dates have a significance for one, that you remember that date of this year, 2025, being a significant time, that blah 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 that happened or whatever happened, and you want to remember that moment. That's how that might be one of the ways you can recall that, or to remediate it to make it better. This was done February 1st on a Saturday, 2025 at 8:47 a.m. when Venus was coming up over the horizon. Woo! So that's my show, folks. Except no, we got the finale. Let's see who our winner is. We added some of those to the bowl. Let's go ahead and name it. Okay. The winner of this talisman of your choice, or if you would like to have a half, put this toward a personal talisman, that's possible. But we will. You don't have to be here to win. We will email you. Here we go. The winner is Cynthia F. Cynthia, you won. You won. You won. You won. You won. Today's your day. Today's your day. Good. Great. I will, or Alex will email you. And hey, Cynthia, you won. Yes, yes, yes. So you get to pick one. Maybe you saw it here tonight. Maybe you didn't. Maybe it's in on the website. Maybe it's a personal. Maybe it's one that is a pre-sale that's going to be coming up and being put on my website. We'll chat over email. Great, and yay! And congratulations is coming your way, Cynthia. So thanks for being here. Yes, I am in my birthday luck. Woo! And I love to talk about astrology, and one of the things that Alex and I were batting back and forth, I hope I won, batting it back and forth, is that we're thinking about our next time is to do something more interactive with someone signing up, and I get their birth information, although I might already have it, and then pairing you up with a talisman, right? Pairing you up with something that you're looking to do by looking at your chart. So we're thinking about putting that together maybe for our next Talisman Trunk Show. But until then, you'll be notified. There's lots of emails coming out until I go into my 11th house, and that'll be March 19th of next year. But for right now, thanks for listening and following all of my emails. It's just the time to get my reputation out there, and I want it to be a successful one. So thank you all for being here, and I'll see you around the bend. She's coming around the mountain. See you soon.